Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're looking at the Revoltech Raiden from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. God, I can never say that right. I always screw it up. I don't know, it's like Sally sells seashells type of thing for me. I don't know what it is, but we do have the figure who has loose hands in the package because I already opened it. We're going to open it again in a second, so that's okay. On the back here you can see some display suggestions or options. He also comes with the cardboard box like Snake. Different box though, so that's cool. Shows you how to do the interchangeability things. So that's okay by me. That's pretty cool. And then it also talks about the articulation there and how to fix loose joints or tight joints. I think. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what that's saying. Alright, let's look at the figure. Enough of the package. He has on the underside of the package, or of the blister, just like Snake and I assume most Revoltechs, he has his display stand, which I'm not going to take out. It's just a standard display stand, except the hinges are using the Revoltech hinges instead of regular hinges like SH Figure Arts. And he also has the translucent blue little stand thingy with like a wave dash type thing going on. So it's pretty cool. Be careful with these. They break very easily when you're putting the pegs in, so use some caution. Alright, let's look at the figure. He's got just loads of accessories. Tons and tons of accessories. So I think with these Revoltechs, even though you may not like the style, kind of like the way I am, it's not my favorite import figure, but they're definitely worth the money, so you get tons and tons of stuff. Alright, I actually haven't looked at all of this yet, so I may be wrong about a couple things. We're going to find out as we go through. Alright, so the first two things we have in here that aren't that important are this little case here, which I'm told is for just holding your spare parts, I guess. I don't know, it shows the joint in there, so whatever, I don't know. I assume it's not an actual accessory for the figure. Then he does have the little balancing peg thing that pegs into his butt, and then you can just lean him on the table. Come on, come out. Come out of the package. Alright, so that pegs in. Yeah, so here's a good thing I couldn't figure out before. Are you supposed to just peg it in there? Which, that's no good, because then you can't use his little sheath thingy. And so I don't know where you're supposed to peg this in for it to be useful. I don't get that. It seems like an oversight for the figure. Unless there's one on here too, but I don't think there is. So this pegs into here, using the joint there, so that pegs in. And then there's no other peg that I can find, peg hole. So again, I think that's an oversight for them, but either way, that's a balancing thing. Alright, then we also have a watermelon. Not the best accessory in the world, but there is a watermelon. And it snaps together. Do the things line up? Do the striations line up? I don't think they do. Do they ever? I don't think so. Well, maybe they do. That's pretty close. So it does snap together, and then you can make it look like he cut it. And then you have a watermelon. So that's okay, I guess. Not an accessory I'll ever use, but he does have it. This piece, that might explain it. I'm going to bet that that is meant to go into there, and then you can put that on his butt to balance him. Let's see if it's on the package. It is on the package. Yep, that's correct. That's what that's for, I think. So that's pretty cool. That'll balance him just fine. Then we have this piece here, which is similar to the one I just pulled out. And that pegs into his foot. I'll show you real quick. This pegs into his foot here. And then you can put his sword, which it's very hard to get some of these accessories out of the package. But if you played the game, you know that he can hold the sword in his foot. So you can put the sword on like this. Of course, you can display it however you want to, but that makes it look like he's holding it with his foot. So that's what that's for. So we'll set that aside. Alright, and then the last two pieces, three pieces that aren't directly connected to the figure, is this thing here, which is the same as this thing here. And what they do is they hold your spare eyeball, or your other eyeball. So you have a standard eyeball right here. That's the one that he comes with. It's grayish blue, and you can put your spare eyeball in there so you don't lose it, although it's very easy to misplace it anyway. And then his red eyeball, which can come out reddish orange can go in there. That's pretty cool. We'll get to that in a second. So that he has both of those, and then he has this thing here, which I think Snake should have had something similar. This is for posing the eyeball. Since these have holes on them, or in them, instead of little pegs, you just stick that into the eyeball hole. Let's see, is it showing? It's not showing. There we go. So you see that little hole in there? If this was in the face, you could pose it like that. So that's what that is. Alright, so then we also have the sword, which is cool. It's got a nice painted blade on there. The sword sheath, which is humongous. I didn't like that design in the game either, but so the sword goes in here. I think it's like that. Might be the other way. I don't know offhand. And then he also has his little knife here. And it's only little in comparison. It's still pretty good size. And that goes in here. So you have his sword and his knife, and this pegs into, like I showed you earlier, his little thing here. Then you have a double hinge there and a single hinge there, so you can pose that all around. He has a whole bunch of hands. We'll look at those in a second. He has an interchangeable headpiece. And I say that because it's not the whole thing, it's just his visor. And I'm not quite sure on this because I didn't play the game a whole lot. I know these things come off because I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the same piece as this, just folded or cut in half and pulled off to the side type of deal, like it removes itself. So you pop the hair off, it comes off up, by the way, don't pull forward. So it's kind of tight, but it does come off. Pull that off, pop this down, and then he has his visor on. So that's what that is, and it shows him with these pieces back on once you put that piece on, but that seems like it's not right. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure he's not supposed to have both on there. So if you guys know, you can let me know. But either way, there's the alternate head. And how you do the eyeball change is you just pull this piece down and use that little white tool to pop the eyeball out. So that's pretty cool. There's the face up close. Nicely detailed. This figure, just like Snake, really great sculpt and paint work. Can't complain about that in the slightest little bit. He does have a whole bunch of hands. I'll go through them real quick. He has two open palm type hands, individually sculpted fingers, really well done. He has these kind of more open, grasping type hands. So that's pretty cool. What's this one? This one is a sword holding hand. This one is as well. And something really cool about these is they hinged them horizontally instead of vertically, if you want to put it that way. You see the difference? These go this way, these go this way. So this allows him to hold his sword kind of straight out. So that's pretty cool. And then he also has this hand, which looks like a thumbs up, but I think it's to make it look like he's pulling the sword out of this sheath or scabbard, but I don't know. Alright, so that's it for the accessories. Let's look at the actual figure. So many little things to talk about. Let's see if we can keep this review a little bit shorter than the other one, but I think I'm going to fail at that. Alright, he stands taller than Snake. He's 6 inches tall. And like I said, the paint work and sculpt work is phenomenal. It looks great. We do have some problems with the joints. Good old Revoltech and their goofy joint system, which works sometimes and not so much other times. The knees do not look that good because they don't have a floating knee pad like Snake had. So you just have this humongous gap once you bend it, and even when you don't, his knee joint's just particularly ugly with the big ball joint there. The ankles is standard Revoltech joints. The toes are hinged just like you would expect. The hips, just like you would expect again. They peg into the thigh, and then they peg into the butt. So this part rotates this way. And then this one can rotate around, and obviously it hinges forward. This is a soft piece, so you will be able to pose it just fine. So I mean, it's functionally, it's okay. I don't really have too many complaints. It's just, sometimes they're pretty ugly. The lower torso, same thing. It's got the standard ball hinge, and that goes right through the torso into the upper torso. So that's it's technically a single joint, but it kind of works like a double, so that's pretty good. He has really good range of motion. As you can see, bends over really well. Bends backward, not quite as well, but he does bend backward and side to side. It's all there, so that's okay. The neck has the same thing going on. And then the head actually has one for the hair. The hair connects to the neck, and then the hair connects to the rest of the hair. So he has a double jointed neck, kind of. triple jointed really, so really good range of motion there. The shoulders are just like snakes except for, just like snakes except for having a single one, it's a double. So you can really kind of adjust the arm a little bit better. It really lends itself to posability. It's still pretty awkward though. It looks good from some angles. It looks better than snakes from all angles, but it's still a little awkward. And what I would suggest is you can pull these out just a little bit. Be careful when you do it, but you can loosen the joints a bit, and then you have even a better range of motion. Single joint for the elbow, and then the wrists just have the peg and the swivel. So it's definitely a really good figure. I do like it a little bit more than Snake, I think, besides from the fact that he's just really cool and it looks really nice. He is really good, and I do recommend it. I'll show you the holster thingy, the sheath thing one more time. So this just pegs onto here. And of course, I don't remember exactly how it was connected to him in the game. This does seem a little bit more cumbersome though, having all of this extra parts here. But again, I don't really remember. But you can bring it around to the side like that very easily. Of course, I don't have exactly how I would have it, but you can see, you get the idea that it goes around like that, and you can move it around to the back. You can really position it however you want to with all of these different joints. So it's pretty cool. And again, he does have the knife and this sword that go in there, so that's really nicely done. And I'll show you that hand real quick, just so you get an idea of what I was talking about if you didn't before. Oh, come on, go in. It's a really tight fit. Either way, that's good enough. So you can peg that in, and you can rotate the hand this way instead of like he's going like this, and that way you can kind of point the sword forward or lean it up on his shoulder, that kind of thing. I'll just put it on and show you, why not? So you can see that way it just gives him a little more, it really lends itself to holding the sword, that kind of thing. So that's really cool. And the figure is really cool all around. So I definitely do recommend it. I think if you don't have one, you should probably get one. Even if you're not a Revoltech fan like me, meaning that I'm not a Revoltech fan, you probably will like this figure. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.